It's my pleasure and privilege to welcome you today. How are you?
Nice to see you, Dr. Kalitenko.
Again, you forgot to say again.
Again
so
and again.
What's the topic today?
So, my name is Eric Hagen. I'm a very good friend of Dr. Sergey Kalitenko. We always talk about how to improve our health, and each topic is usually on one hand is simple, on the other hand is totally unusual. And each time you surprise me each time because your ideas how to treat patients, how to improve our health are, I would say, out of ordinary, I would say, because you do not go the usual way,
Well, but what I'm trying to do is not to follow, it's not my purpose to follow the usual way. My purpose is to follow common sense.
Yeah, but you sometimes I think that you almost deny the tradition, I would say, that common practice, I would say. Very often what I hear from you, I do not read it anywhere, I do not hear it anywhere, but it works because I know that your patients are very grateful, and I know
Some of them.
I know many
Not
of them.
everybody, but
I know
some.
many of them are very
Some of
grateful.
them, yeah.
Some of them cannot understand why you recommend this way because it's totally out of usual practice.
I wouldn't say that is out of usual practice, but sometimes yes, it sounds like it's kind of unusual. And let me just tell you one story. Okay? Can you see that bottle over there?
This one?
Yes.
Yes.
So that's called Gastric Assist.
Okay.
Okay, and what is this? This is a complex of digestive enzymes
Okay.
with hydrochloric acid. So I remember a very interesting story about that.
Okay.
Yeah, about digestive
Well,
enzymes.
some patient?
Yeah.
Okay.
So couple of years ago,
Okay.
a young woman in her, I think she was in her late, I'm sorry, it was a guy. It was the guy. He was in his late 30s.
Okay.
He came to see me and he told me that he has the final stage of lung cancer.
Oh.
Yeah, just cancer spread everywhere. And he asked me to do something for him. And I asked, what do you want me to do? We cannot change the
Did he
prognosis.
smoke, by the way? Okay.
Hold on. That's the interesting part.
Okay.
The interesting part. And he told me that, Doc, I didn't come here for you to cure me, but I just want you to solve one thing. And I said, what? And he said, I know that you are specializing in looking for the root cause of the problem.
Correct.
Yes.
You're good at diagnostics.
Yeah, and it's not about diagnosis, it's a little bit different. But he said that the reason why I came to you is because I want to know why I have lung cancer. And I said, why do you want to know that? And he said, that's because everybody in my family, they smoke, they're obese, they eat junk food, they drink alcohol, they do drugs. None of them has cancer.
Wow.
I don't smoke.
Wow.
I don't eat junk food. I eat the best food possible. I don't drink alcohol. I don't do drugs. And I have cancer, but they don't. So I want to know why.
Interesting, very interesting.
Well, it was very interesting. So we did a workup. It took a while. And a few weeks later, I called him and said that, we came up to conclusion. And when he came...
Digestive system.
Yes, he did not have digestive enzymes or almost whatsoever.
Wow.
No.
And why is that, by the way?
Let me just go straight to the point. So the thing is that he, even in theory, he couldn't get any nutrients to repair himself or to build up his immune system or to do anything. He just didn't have the stuff to digest his...
But why lungs? Why not stomach, for example? Why?
Well, it doesn't really
lungs?
matter because as soon as you don't have the digestive enzymes, you can't repair yourself. And where it's going to be broken, it could be
anywhere.
Could be anywhere. Could be skin, could be digestive system, could be lungs. And I think that's the most plausible explanation.
Wow. So you were the first doctor who explained to him the root of his cancer. He went probably before you to many other places.
That's my opinion. That's my opinion. I cannot say
because he came to you and said why. So obviously nobody else.
Everybody would agree with me, But in my understanding, if somebody doesn't have digestive enzymes, he just can't get it. He can't get nutrients in his body. And the funny thing was this. Then he questioned and he said, "Are you sure?" And I said, "Yeah, this is the lab result." Okay, and he said that it doesn't look like it's true, and his wife was sitting next to him, and his wife said that, "Listen, I think this doctor is right." And I said, "Why do you think like that?" And his wife said that to her husband, "Look, you eat 3 times as much as I do, and you're slim and I'm fat.
Wow.
So the only explanation is that the food
Something is wrong.
goes through. It's not digested and absorbed. Otherwise, why would you eat it so much?" And then
So
the guy agreed,
did he stay with you? Did you try to fix it, or he didn't believe you?
Well, this is a complicated story. The thing is that the guy was in the stage when not that much could have been done.
Metastasis?
Yeah, that it was everywhere in his spine. Everywhere.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's not just lungs.
Yeah, because that's in his liver and everywhere. So kind of. But at least what I'm trying. My point is that digestive enzymes are extremely important, and the reason for that is because look, that's a common sense. If you eat, you need to digest and absorb, right?
Correct.
If you don't do that, there is no way you can just get the money.
So you're saying this is like what, pills, tablets?
Yeah,
what
that's
is
the
it? Pills.
pills.
So you're saying by getting these pills, you restore this good digestive system? No, by
I'm not
getting
saying
these
that,
pills?
but I'm saying that part of that.
Ah,
And
okay.
it is useful only if you do need it, because not everybody is lacking his digestive enzymes.
Mhm.
And in order to figure it out, this needs to be tested, of course. And the benefit of actually taking these pills is not only because it contains the digestive enzymes, but because it contains hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid is extremely important for the digestion.
Uh-huh.
Why is that? Because there are 2 main reasons. First of all, in order to start the sequence of digestion, and also to digest metals like zinc, copper, iron. If you don't have a hydrochloric acid, metals like magnesium or calcium or iron, they're not going to be absorbed. That's as simple as that. And the next important thing is that hydrochloric acid, it kills the bad stuff, because when you eat, you can't make food sterile. There's some yeast, some bad bacteria, so in order to kill all those unnecessary yeast or bacteria, you need some kind of agent that is makes the disinfection of the food.
Question.
Uh-huh.
I do not take this, so what kills all of this bad stuff in my stomach?
That I don't know. How do you know that it's killed?
I feel okay.
It doesn't mean that much, That the guy before
I don't have
he was
problem with digestion.
the guy he was diagnosed with lung cancer. He didn't feel anything. That's.
So don't try to scare me.
No, I'm not trying to scare you, but just it's an answer for your question. That's the thing. If you feel it, it's kind of late.
Too late.
Yeah, it's kind of like, not all the time, but it's kind of, because it means that the job is done already. Because basically people realize that something is wrong when they have some kind of alarming symptoms.
That's why people saying all the time, not just like doctors, professionals, but like common sense people saying like that you have to do checkup with your doctor once in a while, even if you don't feel anything.
Yeah, but this kind of stuff, it's
Basics.
kind of to check for this. You need the best labs in the United States. Do you think if you can go to?
So it's not a regular lab
No,
result?
no. We use the best labs in the United States because this is very complicated stuff.
Oh.
And, also, that's one of the part of the workup, because basically when we need digestive systems, which is digestive system, we check for digestive enzymes, we check for good bacteria, we check for bad bacteria, we check for yeast, we check for parasites. Happens all the time.
So it's up to the doctor to write to the lab what exactly he or she, doctor, looking for in that specific blood.
No,
test, correct?
usually we use the panel, because when we deal with this issue, we don't know exactly where the problem is located.
Okay.
And because we want to avoid the guesswork, so we obviously, when I see a patient, I cannot pinpoint exactly to what part of his digestive process is compromised, because it's too complex.
So that's what I'm saying. So you're asking for as much information as possible from lab, so you can make a, like
Within certain limits, of course, yes. It depends. Sometimes I can modify the order. Supposedly, patient tells me that he spent a few months in South Africa. So in this case, obviously, I will add the microscopic exam for worms. For worms, yeah, we need to look for worms, and routinely we need to look for parasites. The reason for that is because in New York area you can get any parasite from any part of the world because of the obvious reasons. I had a patient a few years ago, and this patient was suffering from fatigue and just multiple symptoms. And to make the story short, we figured out that he had a parasite.
And not from America, somewhere else.
It's not, at least it's not common in the United States. It's not common in the United States, but it was so important that even Department of Health called me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when somebody has parasites like that, or even simple stuff, the simple parasites, Department of Health is they are informed, and they usually want to track because they don't want the parasites to spread, right? That's a common sense.
I see all the time scary stories, and like someone coming from Latin America, remember about these mosquitoes spreading stuff. Some like Ebola scared several years ago, you remember, from Africa and from other countries. So each time you're coming back from the travel, better to check with the doctor, am I right? Just in case.
I think so. If I were in a traveler's shoes, I would probably not go to any areas where they can contract disease, because to contract it, it's very easy to get it. It's very difficult to treat.
But it's like, my son came back recently from Colombia. He checked, everything is okay.
Well, it's like, crossing the road before the fast-moving vehicle. 99 of the times you'll be okay.
So you don't want to take a chance.
Time, it's better not.
Each time someone trying to scare me, don't go to Israel, there are terror attacks there. I'm saying, what about like World Trade Center in New York City? So you can get disease even in New York without going anywhere.
That's a personal choice, but this is kind of different, because when you are afraid of getting a disease, you can take a preventive measures. For example,
like
if you go to Mexico, everybody knows that you can drink water except for bottled water.
I was there many times.
Yeah.
I always drank from bottled water, or bought it somewhere. I never drank local water.
Otherwise, it's very difficult. When you go to Mexico, you know how many people they contract hepatitis A. It's a lot of people over there, and this is kind of dangerous.
So did it happen among your patients? That someone
hepatitis A,
came
yeah.
because they visited Mexico and drank, were careless.
And who goes to supposedly to cruise ship?
Yeah, that's all the time.
The same thing, because of very obvious reasons. Because there is a lot of people, they don't have enough the devices to clean the water. That's a common thing. And the same thing on the highly populated islands. The drainage is overwhelmed with the amount of inhabitants of the people who live there. That's why it's kind of difficult. So,
but let's come back to.
But that's why it is very important.
Gastric. By the way, it's only for patients who already have some issues, or it could be even a healthy person can take it to improve his digestive system.
I wouldn't suggest that, because if somebody has enough hydrochloric acid, by the way, which is, if somebody has enough hydrochloric acid, obviously he should not be scared of parasites, at least to some extent. Not every parasite, but it's not 100% defense. There is no defense in the world that's 100% bulletproof. There's no way. But at least can get some protection, because what hydrochloric acid does, it kills it. Kills bad bacteria or bad bugs. And I wouldn't suggest to take it unless it's really necessary. No. This is not stuff everybody should have.
Yeah.
You know, like in my
It's not
understanding,
vitamin C.
there are some supplements that everybody should have, and I religiously do it for myself. It's like magnesium, selenium, iodine, what else?
Zinc?
D,
No?
zinc, vitamin D, zinc, vitamin C, vitamin B. That's, I think, the number one. You know, almost everybody has to have it. And the reason for that is because the soil exhaustion. Okay, soil exhaustion, because that's the basic stuff. But this one is not. And I suggest
It's
that,
only to patients who really need
yeah,
it.
who really need it, because if somebody has indigestion, and obviously we don't know why he has, could be multiple reasons for that. But unfortunately, we see this thing more and more, and the reason for that is because a lot of people, they are taking the medications that suppress hydrochloric acid production. And what happens is there's no hydrochloric acid, the defense goes all the way down. And that's the problem, and obviously there's not only because of the medications, because the digestive system is not working properly, there is some kind of autoimmune stuff or other stuff going on in the stomach. Now let me give you an example. Somebody drinks a couple of shots vodka every other day. What do you think will happen to his stomach?
Couple of shots of vodka every other day.
Every other day or every third day? Well,
Yeah,
there's a very well-known...
It's not
I think it's going on.
everything will be okay.
I don't think so. There is a very well-known thing like...
Couple of shots of vodka every other day. What's gonna happen?
Well, alcohol, vodka is 40% alcohol, right?
Okay.
So you just put alcohol and it's pretty strong stuff.
Yeah, but you're not saying bottles, you're saying few shots, you're saying, correct?
Oh, do you think there is no such thing?
Every other day.
There is no such thing like a safe the dose of poison.
I
If you
understand.
keep doing it, putting the same thing again and again and again, finally the defense will be broken. You know, those people, they not necessarily they take shots. You know, I'm against alcohol.
You told me.
Yeah, I don't drink at all. I don't even smell it. You know, there is no alcohol in my life.
You
for
can
many
smell it,
years.
no problem.
No.
Smell it is okay.
No, you know
The
why?
look is okay.
You know why it is even smell? I mean, I'm exaggerating. It's a sort of
Yes.
Kindle effect. Basically, it means that somebody is out of alcohol for a very long time, and if starts getting alcohols even in small amounts, it can create so huge problem that you can't even imagine. It's called Kindle effect. It's very well known thing. It's not what I think. That's what they write, and that's very well known.
I'm not saying that alcohol is healthy. But again, you can say, oh, it's until car accident happens, then it's a
Yeah.
problem. But I've known and I know a lot of people who can drink a little bit, sometimes in a while, no problem whatsoever.
Well, they may not necessarily know about that. Who knows what's going on with the digestive system, and maybe they eat 3 times a day, like huge meals, and it goes through. Yes, they feel okay and they enjoy their food, but you know, they doesn't mean that their digestive system is working properly. Why? Well, let me ask you this: why would cancers are going up so much lately? Especially,
A lot of reasons.
No, like what?
Our environment becoming much worse, like it's not a fresh air, it's not a good water, you just gave a few examples. It's not a good food very often, like food is becoming also not so healthy like 50 years ago, for example. And bad habits also, of course. And so a lot of reasons. And each time I see toxic environment, I see these fumes each time on the street, not just from cars and buses, but like in some places I see like impossible to walk in a neighborhood, that you smell it terrible. So it's a lot of reasons, mostly environment, food, quality of food, water, air, everything, you know.
But that's alcohol, I think, fits in this category.
Alcohol, but if you abuse alcohol, but if you, like, you give an example, like sometimes a little bit, you didn't say like alcoholic, or you didn't say like every day have a bottle of vodka, you didn't say that.
Let me ask you this. Supposedly, you work and you have a coworker that betrayed you. And you have a power to dismiss him or to let him keep working for you. Okay, so let me ask you this. If somebody betrays you, would you say that, you know what?
Giving him a second chance?
Yeah, just one time betrayal, it's okay. If he betrays me 5 times, then I will fire him.
But I don't think it's a proper comparison.
Well, why not? You know, I don't think that listen, either it's a good stuff or it's a bad stuff. You know, like a woman, if either she's pregnant or she's not pregnant, you can say that this woman is pregnant a little bit.
Again, I don't think it's a proper comparison, but okay.
Well, that's my point of view. Because, you know, either it's good or this is bad, because, you know, you need to be strict, in my understanding. And I do what I preach, I strict to myself. No,
I know, you don't drink.
no smoking, no alcohol, nothing. You know, because I believe that even a small amount can change everything. And the reason for that is because I see it. I see it. Because not everybody sees it, because for you, if you don't feel anything, it means that you're okay. I don't think so. Because when you start feeling it, as I said, you know, that's too late, because that's something that happened already. If patient comes to me with a cancer, you know, it means that he hit his immune system to the so much, to the extent that it just can't function. They can't perform basic stuff to perform the defense, anti-cancer defense. That's as simple as that. Because normally, cancer should not be there.
You just gave me example in the beginning of our show that the person did not drink alcohol, did not smoke, and still got cancer. You know?
Yeah, but there's a very good reason for that.
So
A very good reason. Very good reason.
I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not advocating to drink
No.
a lot of vodka and smoke everywhere and do the wrong stuff every day. I don't.
No, but this patient
I'm saying
had
that sometimes,
a very good reason for having his digestive system shut down.
Very good reason for this one. But it would not,
this.
it did not save him anyway, because like it should be,
But
because
the
he
thing
was
is
in the last
that
stage.
that particular person had a very good reason why he didn't have digestive enzymes. Actually, it was his food. But let me tell you something that to support my point of view. Supposedly, how do I know that I think I'm right? It's very easy. Because there are some places on earth where there is no alcohol, no smoke, no processed food, etc., etc.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah, you know, it is. And there are some islands in the Pacific Ocean that are kind of, you know, they are separated from civilization. And they don't have any cancer, no heart attacks, no diabetes.
And they live a long time? I don't think so. And people there live for a long time?
It depends on what you mean. The average lifespan is in the middle. It's about close to 50 years. But the reason for that is because of the child mortality. So basically, everybody, when somebody wants to say that paleo diet is not working, they mention this number. About 45, 50 years, the main average lifetime. Yes, it's true, but it's not because they are unhealthy, that's because of the child mortality.
They also don't have
they
medicine.
survive.
They also don't have modern medicine.
As soon as they survive, they live a long time. They live in their 80s, 90s, 100s. They don't have any disease and just die suddenly. They just fall down from the tree or something like that.
Some of our viewers now will ask for an address of this place.
No, that's
to stay there for a vacation.
Listen, that's no. I can tell you that's the one of the recent studies. It's called Kitawa study, Kitawa Island. Kitawa
Where
Island,
is it?
it's somewhere in Pacific Ocean. You know, but the thing is that yes, it was a very well-known thing. Kitawa study, just Google it. You will get it.
Kitawa?
Kitawa, yeah. Kitawa. And actually they went over there and they drew the blood. They drew the blood from the inhabitants of that island, and they never, at least not to my knowledge, at least I couldn't find any results, because I would like to know what normal studies are. No, don't you want you to? Because when you do or I do blood work, how would I know how would I know that the report that labs is giving you was normal, so true? I need to compare it to the healthy population. And I can do that.
Question. You can get it only through pills, or you can find this stuff in healthy and important stuff in regular food somewhere?
There are some people who believe that digestive enzymes
Like
are...
fruits,
No,
for
yeah, I
example?
understand what you're saying. And the classic example is papaya.
Mhm.
Some people believe that eating papaya can solve this problem. However, I haven't seen that. And
I've heard about
maybe it does, but basically what I'm trying to tell is that the small amount of digestive enzymes not always work. What we try to do, we try to get it close to pharmaceutical stuff. Because pharmaceutical stuff, I don't know if you know that or not, but pharmaceuticals, that is all prescription stuff. They have digestive enzymes, they have probiotics, they have all this stuff, including probiotics, but it's extremely expensive, and obviously the dosages and delivery system is kind of different from what you get over the counter.
I know that some people are obsessed with probiotic buttermilk in stores.
No,
They believe it will
this
help
is-
them.
this is not-
It will help them with the digestive
In my understanding, it's not really good, you know, and the reason for this because first of all, buttermilk does not contain the proper strains. No, you can't
They
probiotic.
put probiotic,
No, that doesn't mean
Not
anything.
enough?
No, it's not about enough. First of all, it's not enough, and second of all, it's about the strains because you need to have the right bacteria. You can't get buttermilk and say, hey, that's what you need. How do you know that? First of all, the number of strains in our digestive is huge. So how come one buttermilk with one strain it can cover everything? That's just not possible. In order to get a lot of strains that you need to, it's kind of expensive and complicated stuff.
Yes.
And second is the dosage. Let me give you an example.
But it's a popular idea about probiotic buttermilk.
Yeah.
That it helps your digestive system. I hear it over and over again.
No, I know, but it
Not just
doesn't-
from advertising, from people.
doesn't mean that it's true. And no, let me give you an example for you to understand what I'm talking about. Mainly, when you buy a probiotic over the counter, usually it's 1, 2, 5, 20 billions
Okay.
once a day. What I use over the prescription strains is 800,000 billions.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, it's expensive.
Wow.
And I use it twice a day. So when you take this probiotic, usually it kind of effect is kind of different.
Wow. Yes, it's very, very.
Yeah, it is a huge
It's very different.
It's a huge difference between what they are selling over the counter and what they are selling in the pharmaceutical store, in the pharmacy. There's a huge difference, and people think
How many is here?
no, that's not a probiotic.
That's
That's
not enough,
digestive
I know.
enzymes. Yeah,
That's different.
that's a different thing. It's not.
Yes.
But I'm just trying to give you
Give you
a feeling.
idea.
And people ask question, why supplements don't work? It's because you need to take the right supplement at the right dose. Let me give you another example. For example, main supplement, what I see of vitamin B is 1.3 milligrams, 1.5, 3 milligrams. Do you know how much they give in emergency room when they suspect vitamin B1 deficiency intravenously?
25 milligram.
100. IV push, right away. IV push, it's not a pill, so it's much more powerful. So the dosage cannot be even compared what is used with this kind of, when you really suspect that. What you get over the counter is just for fun, probably. But it's not a real dose.
Okay.
Okay, so that's pretty much it. So we
Yes.
covered the
So gastric assist, but only to people who really need it.
Yeah, who really need it. Who doesn't need it, it's useless. So in order to get to it, you
First
need
they have to come to
yeah.
check, to do checkup, to do blood tests and everything.
That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Anything else we should cover?
No, I think we need to leave something for the next
Yeah, for
time.
the next time. Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Dr.
And see you next
Kalitenko.
time.
Thank you so much.